Welcome to this logic grip on the bounce replace function. As you can see in our project, we've got our drum tracks and our bass tracks here, which have all had some severe editing done to them. Let's give this a listen. Bounce replace is a function that lets us tidy up all these audio edits into one file per track. To do this, we need to go to Track, Bounce Track in Place, or Bounce Replace All Tracks. In this example, we are going to bounce replace all tracks, because all of our tracks have had edits done to them. Bounce Track in Place lets us do one track per time. Logic asks you to save this before we can continue. The Bounce Replace dialog box opens. We can choose to bypass effects plugins, include volume and pan automation, and we can also choose what normalize function we want this on. We can turn it off, on, or we can have overload protection only. Because Logic has to perform this operation on 7 different tracks, it may take more time than on one. It's worth noticing that if we look at bar 9, we see there is a little square. This is to tell Logic that we only want to bounce up to bar 9, so it won't go past it. Bounce and replace can also be done on MIDI and MIDI instrument tracks. This can be useful if your MIDI instruments are using a lot of CPU power. Bounce and replace is also good to use if you will significantly change the audio file via plugins. An example of this is using a guitar amp simulator on a DI of a guitar. Once you get the tone you're after, it's always worth bounce and replacing this to save on CPU power. As you can see, Logic has bounced all these edits to one file per track. Let's give these a listen. This is how we bounce and replace in Logic.